Hello, and welcome to this segment of Hospitality Insights. I'm right now working on Instagram Live, and I hope my friend Maria will be joining this discussion in just a moment. Maria, hi.
Hello, finally,
Oh, well, we don't want to spoil everybody else's viewers who are watching this, what has been going on behind the scenes here, but we've been trying to have a discussion going here already for about an hour. But
yeah.
Anyway, glad you can have this discussion now. And Maria, I just want to I put as a topic the neglected heroes in coffee, and it's really quite a powerful topic that you kindly agreed on. But I think it would be nice for our live viewers. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone who has joined in. I think we have Daniela here, Giorgio is here. We have several people coming in, so this could be a great discussion. So, Maria, tell a little bit about your journey. We have discussed earlier what you have been doing in the past, and we have met in Finland and we have met in Malta. And I finally realized that the rich history your family has in coffee. But just share about your professional journey, what you've been doing for the last years since you left Colombia.
Well, since I left Colombia, there's quite a lot that has happened. I actually have been in Europe for around 9 years. I left my sous chef job. I used to work in a large Peruvian restaurant, a high-end restaurant, and I really wanted something more that I could do with my skill set and with the things I had learned, but that could also give me some quality of life, because it's quite difficult, unfortunately, to have that when you work in a kitchen. So I came to Europe initially to do my master's degree studies at the Paul Bocuse Institute, and by some stroke of luck, I got into Hotelier, where I met you as a project manager. And then I went to work at Paul Bocuse as the program manager for the master's degree I actually did. And afterwards, I decided to move to Malta because my husband was already here. And we were discussing what is it that I wanted to do here, because the opportunities are not as wide as they are in the rest of mainland Europe. So he told me, like, why don't you try to sell coffee or something? Because as you mentioned, in my family, we have a big tradition of growing coffee. We have been coffee growers for about 200 years. The house is there since 200 years. So I spoke with my dad, and he told me, hey, why don't you try not only our own, but from farms around here and from very special coffee, such as one that is produced only by women and other produced by indigenous people. And I thought it was a good idea. So I started selling actually the coffee bags. And then the idea became an actual coffee shop, which we are finishing this week, hopefully.
Very good. Now, all along, you have had some successes and challenges to reach where you're going to open up this very amazing coffee house. So what is your approach to challenges? I mean, how do you deal with those tough times when you are wondering, well, is this going to work? And then you somehow turn the corner, and then you go on again.
Actually, to be honest, at the beginning I freak out and I get very anxious and so on. But then afterwards, because of the project management training I have had, I learned how to break down a big challenge into smaller tasks. And it makes things very manageable. So you can start with a small task. Once you accomplish that, you feel better about yourself. Then you move on to the next one. So instead of just looking at it in the bigger picture, you start splitting it up into tiny segments. And then you realize that everything is possible if you narrow it down to the minimum. So that's how I approach these challenges.
Very good. Any of the live viewers we have here, if you have any questions for Maria, because she's just now sharing some valuable advice that we all have to go through, and we have a huge challenge ahead of us. Break it down to small, manageable, and create wins for yourself, because then you can celebrate that little win and move on to the next thing. That's good. Now, coffee. I'm a passionate coffee drinker myself, and when I learned that you have passion for coffee, and it's the Colombian coffees, it reminds me of when I was a kid. I was watching this commercial about Colombian coffee. Juan Valdez. I mean, I don't know anything about Colombia in the first place, but this was something that I saw this coffee grower having the sacks of beans and on his mule, evidently delivering to somewhere. Is that just a brand or image, or is there a really real person behind this, to your knowledge?
Well, Juan Valdez is a figure created by the National Coffee Growers Federation, but that exemplifies the actual picker, the person, the heart of the whole business, the person who picks the bean. And the person who picks the bean usually has a hat for the hot days, and he has like this very pristine shirt because they are always like with their nice attire, and they have a mule usually, because in Colombia, since the terrain is very treacherous and it's difficult to navigate, the only animals that can go through narrow paths that are unstable are mules. And often you hear that if a mule doesn't pass, a road won't pass either. So the mule is kind of our high standard, and the mule helps the pickers transport and move their load. So it is the image of the picker.
Okay. When we talked about the topic today, we talked about the neglected heroes. What do these coffee producers bring to the table, and the importance that they have on the coffee chain?
When we discussed this subject at the beginning, I told you that, to me, most of the time, the idea of coffee boils down to what the roaster and the barista do. And oftentimes it are the roaster and the barista that take the credit. And somehow we kind of forget or don't really know where the coffee actually comes from, and how much education and how much love there is behind it. So the neglected heroes for me are the pickers and the people who work every day in a farm, making sure that every single bean that is put in the scale is worthy, is red, is a healthy bean. And also because this industry is quite unfair to the picker and the system in general before the bean reaches the roaster. And it has so much work behind. There are so many people that are skilled, actually, because in Colombia, we train these people. We as in the Federation of Coffee Growers, these people are trained, they are educated. You can stop any picker and ask him or her about quality, and they are going to reply to you with knowledge. So for me, those are the unsung heroes, the neglected heroes of the business.
Well, I'm glad you bring it up, because I think there are people, including myself, who are we always see these baristas. We saw the advertisement of the small roasteries, and these are the images and the marketing that is being spun off. But you are so right. We are forgetting really who are the ones who are actually picking the bean, who are choosing the best quality. And I think so. I think it's very nice of you to bring it up now. And I think this is something that we can always learn from. What makes a Colombia coffee, especially the Arabica, unique? What makes it special and unique?
Well, it's good you mentioned, because we only grow Arabica in Colombia. We have our own sub-varieties. We have even our own variety called the Colombia variety. But what makes it special is several things. We have all of the floors from beach to snowy peak. So every thermic floor gives it a distinct profile. We also have very rich volcanic soils, so the coffee is very well nurtured. And the most important aspect is how the coffee is picked and gathered. Besides the plant being there and having good conditions, and we have like, not this year, unfortunately, but usually we have good weather. So you know that as in wine, the higher the temperature, the sweeter the fruit. But other than that, and something that is very special in Colombian coffee is that it's always hand-picked, always. We don't use machines. Machines damage the plant. And it's picked by hand. And it's also picked only red and yellow. So green beans are not accepted. They are usually going to be refused because they yield defects in the cup. So those are the things that make it special. Also, I would like to mention that in Colombia, with the Coffee Grower Federation, we have this system where they give the farmer tools and knowledge so that they can produce the best cup that they have. They have coppers, they have roasters, they have technicians that go to farms, they assess the quality of your flour, they tell you whether the flour is good, whether it needs some more nutrients. They have a huge support system behind, so that even if you have a block of land, you can profit from this help.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about quality? I heard something about Supremo. Is that a grade of beans? Supremo?
Well, usually we have two qualities, which is one is, as you call it that, or you can call it like export quality. Okay. And then we have what we call pasilla, which is grains that are defective, that have some sort of that have had bugs or something, because we have little critters that sometimes affect the quality of our coffee. But the Excelsior, the premium that you export, usually has no defects. It's 98 to 100% pure red and yellow beans. It has been like sometimes selected by hand. So what you get from 100% Colombian coffee is always a high quality cup.
Okay. Let's move over to your exciting project, the coffee house in Malta. What is the purpose of your concept, and why is it different to any other coffee house that is which is open up in Malta at the moment? What does it offer?
Well, normally in other cities in Europe, there wouldn't be this much of a hype, I would say, because other cities in Europe are oftentimes more exposed to specialty coffees. But on the island in Malta, there aren't that many places where you can get specialty coffee. So my idea is to bring a little bit of the place that I grew up in, that farm, that the ambience of being inside of a coffee farm, of being inside the trees, the peace that you breathe there, the quiet that you have around there, the moment where you share with your family and with your friends. That is not a super refined place, but it's a place where you can actually gather yourself. And the coffee is imported by ourselves, has been selected in Colombia, has been carefully chosen by the person that we have there, which in this case is my father. So I wanted to show everybody else where I grew up in and how cool it is.
Wow, I'm so impressed about this idea, because I think when most of the time these hip coffee houses, you have this music going on, you have lots of merchandise going on, but you're bringing really the from your roots into this, and the passion from your roots into this coffee house. That's really nice, Maria. I'm really I can't wait to see it one of these days. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Tell a little bit anything, the cups or anything that you're. What are you using for material, etc. What do you serve your coffee in? You mentioned.
Well, because of of where it's located. Obviously, I cannot be super disruptive and have everybody drink filtered coffee because that's completely out of scope. But we are using different methods so the customer can choose the method that they can use. So we have a French press, we have AeroPress, we have the traditional espresso machine, and we have filter coffee. And the filter coffee, we have had artisans from Colombia, from a place called Carmen de Viboral, which is very famous for the china, the hand-painted china that they do. We had them make these filters. So every time that you drink a filter coffee from us, it's going to be made also in a filter that was made in Colombia, hand-painted in Colombia. So that's the way we envision it happening.
I think I would go for that, definitely.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. And so when are you opening? I know you're very busy finishing up the coffee house. And what's the plan? When are you serving when can the first customer come in?
No, I was looking at my arms because I'm full of paint. We have been painting the walls now, but we hope we will be able to open by the 8th of July. If anything happens, because here there's a little bit of bureaucracy to go through. Yeah. So if we go through that last hurdle, the last permit, we will be able to open by the 8th of July.
Fantastic. Well, anyone who is in Malta or planning on going there, at the end of this segment, we will share where you can find Maria's Coffee House when you go to Malta. Let's talk about the entrepreneurship. There's always some issues about women entrepreneurs in the male-dominated business. Can you talk about a little bit what is it like to be a woman entrepreneur in this society, in this area where we've been working on?
As I mentioned previously, the food and beverage industry is very heavily male-dominated, and the culinary world is also very macho, and is this macho culture of like withstanding long hours, and I'm like the best chef because I scream and I yell, and that kind of has permeated the whole culinary atmosphere. And when you try to do something that is like, when you're a minority in this male-dominated world, most of the time what has happened to us is that people don't take us seriously. I have a business partner. I she came with me. She worked with me at the Institut Paul Bocuse, and she's going to be the pastry chef. So it's a fully woman-owned business. So most of the time, they don't take you seriously. They think that you're playing like tea time. So they don't send you the contracts. They simply just don't show up. They think that you're not taking things seriously, or that you're not capable of doing stuff. We have had several comments about like being able to lift stuff to being able to be there for long periods of time. It's quite difficult because sometimes still women are perceived to be weaker and less capable. So that's what we have had to face.
Yeah, I think it's really, really sad that in the 21st century, we still have to talk about this. It's really sad.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But I just want to then, maybe on the other side, what makes it rewarding? Just on the positive side, what makes it rewarding? I mean, you're now entrepreneur instead of being a program director of education or a university.
Even if it was a program director, because when I was there, there are two things, or there is one main thing that you always get to see, and it's the human connection, making human connections and having people connect to your idea or connect to you in a human way. our experience now, even though we haven't opened, is that you get to meet your neighbors and they get to meet you, and they get to see someone who is attempting to do something good around them. They get very excited. They always pass by. They say hello. And with the students was the same thing. You get to see and meet people at the human level, and you get to listen to their questions. You get to, if you can help them. So that's impacting in a very small way, even in a very small scale, your community. That's the most rewarding part.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And have you noticed? I mean, there's some sort of a harassment because you're a woman entrepreneur, that there is an harassment going on that trying to discourage to create success for yourself.
It's mostly like verbal, because they are trying to measure your response and to see how far they can push. Unfortunately, this business makes you become rougher. It makes you become a little bit more aggressive, if you want to call it. Yeah. Because it's kind of like locking horns with another person. That's unfortunate, but that's the way you have to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Now there will be people viewing this episode for a video live, and also since it's going to be on my account. So can you give some advice to any women who would like to, or aspiring women entrepreneurs? What is the advice you'd like to give them? My advice would be reach out to other women, because we often have a unique perspective of what it is to do stuff in our way. I reached out. I had the gigantic luck of having a Colombian woman being here who owns 3 businesses, and she helped me navigate a lot to what I had to do. And without her, Susanna from the Red Parrot, hey, thank you so much, Susanna O'Dwyer. She helped me with a lot of stuff that I could have never been able to do by myself, or at least it would be very difficult to figure out by myself. And also she gave me the perspective about how to deal with people and how difficult it was going to be. And yeah, what she told me all became true. So yes, reach out, ask questions. Most entrepreneurs are very happy to help, very happy to reply to queries. So just reach out. Don't try to do everything by yourself, because you're never going to be able. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, also, I'll be joining as a mentor now in the autumn for immigrant women entrepreneurs. So it's a program that I'm part of. So I'm trying in a small way also for people who are moving into Finland, and women entrepreneurs. Oh, that's wonderful! What a great idea! So I've been doing that for some time, and we are starting up a new program. We have noticed that there's more and more women immigrants who are start forming their own startups, their own businesses, whatever it is, and then we decided, okay, well, let's see what we can do to help them out in a way to navigate through this sometimes some jungle of bureaucracy, or just the practical advice how to go by things. So or provide just sort of support in the sense of that, and somebody they can who will listen to their problems, and also maybe find a solution to them that they don't know how to fix. So that's what we're doing over here. That's a wonderful idea. And the more financially independent you make women, the stronger the society is. Yeah. There's new fresh ideas. There are different perspectives. You're involving an important part of society there directly. Yeah. So exactly. I'm really happy that you're doing this. Thank you. Oh, great. I mean, isn't it wonderful? We finally got able to go through, reach each other here live on Instagram. And we had several people have been coming in and leaving, and I'm sure they will catching up on this conversation later on. If there's anyone who's here now would like to ask Maria a question,
just post them in the comments, and I will make sure I will read them out for you. And meanwhile, yeah, what else could we talk about? Coffee. I like to talk about coffee. How many cups do you drink a day?
Oof. I make a full jar. So if it's 10, that's probably it. But that I learned in Helsinki. Hey, you guys are pretty good at drinking coffee.
Yeah, I think we are pretty good. I mean, it's not sometimes not always the quality, but it's the quantity that we
oh, yeah.
But I consume just a couple of cups, and I like to make it the best cup possible because I like to sip on it and really enjoy it as a special moment of the day.
Yeah, definitely. There's a huge ritual around a coffee cup that's often forgotten because we're always in a rush and we think that's just fuel. But there's that ritual that I want to bring back.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Well, I think we don't have people a little bit shy to ask anything here, or they're just impressed about what you have to say. So then there's no question coming in here. But Maria, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedule to join this discussion. And we are all friends, so it's always great to keep in touch. And I'm so excited about your new venture, and I cannot wait next time I'm coming to Malta to try out. Oh, we got a question here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how long does it take the coffee to get from Colombia to Malta? Any special packaging?
Oof. Well, that's a tricky question. Malta is not a primary port in Europe, so it takes a long time to get stuff here. It has to go to one of the countries in mainland Europe, and then it comes here. And because after COVID, the transportation has experienced, transport industry has experienced a lot of disruptions, then the time has increased quite a lot. We have been bringing our coffee via air, so it takes less, but it's still a good week while you liberate it from customs and so on. But I would say that if you're lucky in a boat, it takes around a month. And of course, yes, we bring it roasted because I do not have the skill set to roast here, and I don't know anybody yet who could do it for me here the way that I want it, so I bring it roasted. I am lucky enough to be able to do that. So yes, we have coffees with that come in a bag that has a valve, because coffee has to degas. That's when you roast it, it inflates, and then it starts because it releases gases, and then you have to have a special packaging for the air to leave.
Okay. And how is it roasted? I mean, is it like a medium roast or a dark roast?
In Colombia, we usually do medium. It's kind of the best way to express the attributes of the bean. But that depends really on individual taste. I know that you in Finland, you like it very, very dark. Yeah. So yeah, it really depends on taste.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Glad we had a very good question here for you. I'm glad it came up in this discussion.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Maria. I'd like to thank you. It was very nice to have a chat with you, and let's keep in touch. And I wish you all the best with your new venture, and can't wait to hear how things are going for you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much for allowing me to be in this space, and for always thinking of me. You're a great friend, and you're always welcome to be here, and to my shop and everything. So thank you so much. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on my private profile, which is at the top next to Sam's. Otherwise, for the coffee shop is at Finca, Finca, Velez, which is my last name, Velez, Finca Velez.
Okay, so follow Maria on her coffee house or the businesses, or follow her directly. And I don't mind if you follow me too. So we'll keep connected always.
Yes, please follow Sam. He's He's incredible, and his insights in social media are surprisingly good.
Okay, take care.